It's really hard for me to have empathy for somebody who treats the rules of safe firearms handling this cavalierly. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection. It's maybe less a defensive lesson than a reminder for all of us who own and use firearms. I'm your host, John Correa.
And I'm your co-host, Neil Widener. Again, this one comes somewhere on the big, beautiful planet Earth. We're not sure where, so if you know, drop it in the comments.
Today's video is sponsored by Delete Me, and not only is Delete Me a sponsor of Active Self-Protection, I am a client and have been for years. Just like our other sponsors, I never recommend something that I do not personally use all the time. And I've been a customer of Delete Me's for over 2 years. I've got the receipts to prove that for you. And listen, what they do is they go and talk to and request all the data brokers get rid of your personal information so that your personal information can't be sold and brokered around the internet or available to people who might stalk you or use it for nefarious means. It has kept me from having my address online, where I had a stalker at one point, a crazy lady from the gym, and literally she couldn't find where I was and what my address was because we had been using Delete Me. They check over 1,000 brokers. They recheck every other month and put in delete requests, and it goes again and again and again, saves you hundreds of hours of work. And I am very happy with the service at a really reasonable price. I'm trying to be even safer and smarter in 2026, and maybe this is a great way for you to be safer and smarter this year too. Hit the link in the description and check Delete Me out. You can see our officer futzing with this gun, takes the magazine out, runs the action a couple of times, pointed at his hand there, no big deal, futzing around with his gun. Looks like maybe he's in his guard shack just playing games with his firearm. So then eventually here he is going to put the magazine back in the gun and then cycle it, take the round out, then cycle the action a little bit again. And then once he does that, he points it at his leg and presses the trigger. And that puts a bullet right through his leg. And you're going to see the blood that is coming out from his leg. And then he's going to limp off. Again, I don't know what the end result was here. So if you got a news story on this one, put it in the comments for me. Seriously, the first time you watched that one, how many times did you cringe? How many times you went, oh, gee, oh, hey, before it even happened?
Through the whole thing, I just felt my shoulders just keep going up. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you not know what you're doing? Clearly, the answer is yes, he doesn't know what he's doing.
He does not know what he's doing. And this case, stupid hurts. All right, at Active Self-Protection, we follow 3 rules of safe firearms handling because they're simple, positive commands. Always keep firearms pointed in the direction of least consequence. Always keep your finger high and at home until you've made a decision to fire, and always keep firearms unloaded until they are in use. Of course, a firearm on your person being used for defense is in use. But Neil, I don't care if you use those or if you decide that Cooper's 4 rules are better. They're not, but if you want that, you can be wrong if you want to be. You got to follow them at all times or stuff like this happens.
Yeah, now I know we're going to have to fight in the comments over the rules, but the rules are very similar. It's just I like the 3 positive commands. Always do this, always do this, always do that, versus never, never, all of those kind of things. But at the end of the day, this guy just completely ignored both sets of rules, had his hand over the end of the gun. And we see that so often in the community. One of the things that we see a lot is in advertisements of different firearms products, people are just sitting there pointing guns at themselves on a regular basis. We need to call that behavior out. That is not safe behavior. And here's an example of why.
This is exactly an example of why. So again, when you treat firearms safety rules cavalierly, if you go, oh, it's not loaded, so it's okay. Well, this gun has a magazine inserted in it, okay? And even so, if you don't follow all the rules of safe firearms handling all the time, accidents like this happen. If you do follow them all the time, it is incredibly unlikely to impossible for them to happen, okay? Firearms are not safe or unsafe. They are unforgiving. They're unforgiving of handling errors. So, again, you notice how many times this guy has a gun pointed at his hand. So he went from it, holding it with his right hand to holding the gun muzzle with his left hand. And, I see this and people are like, oh, how could you be so stupid? Gosh, like what you said, Neil, how many product advertisements have we seen on social media? Have I seen in my Facebook and Instagram newsfeed with dummies pointing guns at their hands like this?
It's all the time. It's way too often, and it's easy to not do that. Now one of the challenges when you're making video for the internet is the angle of the camera. Sometimes makes it look like you're flagging something you're not. I just did a video lesson a few weeks ago, doing some drawing from a seated position, and from the angle of the camera, it looks like I'm pointing the gun at myself, and then I move the camera, and you see, well, no, I'm not. However, putting your hand over the end of the muzzle, there's no angle to be considered there. He literally has his hand over the end of that gun, and that's the bangy part. That's the part where the hot lead comes out, and we don't put our hand there.
Yeah, that's the ouchy part of the gun, right? That's the shooty part, not the holdy-on-y part. And he's got his finger on the trigger as well. So, again, he's just bored, sitting here bored at work, and you look at this and you go, well, wait a minute, this guy is supposed to be an officer of some kind. And I've seen officers that are egregiously bad at this kind of thing. And so now he's like, oh, okay, I took the magazine out. And I see this mistake made all the time, that they go, oh, I took the magazine out, and so now the firearm is unloaded. Au contraire, mon frère, that gun still has a round in the chamber, and look at where he's pointing it right now. So again, we have a loaded gun pointed in an unsafe direction. The only thing keeping that from putting a bullet through him right now is the trigger depression.
Right. And John, to back up just a little bit in the video, you see him kind of look up like he might be talking to somebody. I'm the guy that deals with all of the dry fire stuff at ASP. And so I've spoken to dozens and dozens of people that have had an ND or an AD, depending on what they call it. I don't care. The gun went off when they didn't want it to. And without exception, every single one of them will tell me that somewhere along the line, they were interrupted by a phone call, a conversation, a knock at the door, something like that, and they lose focus. And I'm not saying you can't talk to somebody when you're handling a gun. You just have to be way, way, way more focused on what you're doing with the gun. He could be sitting there talking to his buddy and all that, but at some point he's got to say to himself, hold on, this could hurt me. I need to double check this one more time, visually and physically. And that means we look down the barrel and we put our finger down into the barrel with the slide lock to the back to confirm that that's unloaded. He did none of that. And I think part of that's because he was in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, and say it again louder for the people in the back. Watch him here, because he does run the action a little bit here, but whether that's he short stroked it or he didn't, he's got a broken extractor, maybe. They did not eject a round from the chamber. So when you are checking that a gun is unloaded, you must verify that with feel and with vision. So you got to look with your eyes and feel with your fingers that the chamber is empty. And if you don't do that, you have to assume that that is a loaded gun. And again, so now he is going to point a gun at himself, and he is going to have a loaded gun, and he is going to press the trigger. And that's what's going to cause this. And again, if he had simply checked visually and tactilely, Neil, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it really wouldn't have. And looking at the where you're stopped there, it looks like he's doing moved the slide completely back. But for those of you that don't do a ton of dry fire or handle guns a ton, to reset the trigger, you only have to move the slide a few millimeters, and the trigger is reset real quick. So if you have one in the chamber and just move that slide back, I'm guessing less than half a centimeter for most modern firearms, the trigger is live, and now that thing's going to go off. So again, he needs to lock that thing to the back, double check it. He's put the mag in and out. So anytime you put a mag in and out of it, you've got to check the chamber because this is the risk. And we find out what happened here.
And you never, ever, ever, ever point a gun at yourself. You always keep it pointed in the direction of least consequence. And at a human is a high consequence direction. And that's exactly what he did. So we violated all three rules. So his gun is pointed in a high consequence direction with a loaded chamber, and he pressed the trigger, and that made the gun go off. And they say that stupid should hurt. And when you do this many egregious safety violations, boy, I cannot imagine how bad that's going to hurt, Neil.
My guess is he won't walk right for the rest of his life. We've met a few people in all of our travels that have had similar accidents and had something go through their leg. And I think back to that one student that we had years and years ago, John, that shot themselves as they were reholstering outside the waistband even. It was 2 years after that person had shot themselves. They still walked with a limp. So this guy's going to walk with a limp for a significantly long time, if not the rest of his life. And while we say stupid should hurt, we kind of say that tongue in cheek. I don't want anybody to shoot themselves. But man, that's a hard way to learn the lesson. So for those of you sitting with your phone in your hand, hand or watching on your computer, learn the lesson from this guy so you don't have to learn it for yourself firsthand.
And this is a true negligent discharge. This is negligence of the highest order. He is neglecting to follow the rules of safe firearms handling. I can even call it a reckless discharge. He is recklessly ignoring the rules of safe firearms handling. And then you're going to see, man, you can see as just a few seconds tick by, the pool of bright red blood that is going to form right under his foot. And I think that's a good reminder. We do carry, I strongly recommend that you keep a medical kit, an emergency first aid kit on your person. Now, I don't think your emergency first aid kit, your individual first aid kit should be for self-inflicted gunshot wounds, but you might run into somebody that does something stupid like this and may need it, and you don't want to run to your car to go get it because that 30 seconds could be the difference between life and death.
You have to have some sort of medical within reach of yourself at all times if you're handling a fire gun. Is at least the kind of the rule that I play by. Also, John, back up just a little bit in this video and think about that. The one time we see him handling the gun without his finger on the trigger is after he shot himself. That's a tough lesson.
Wow, what a great catch. And again, as soon as all the things go bad, he goes, "Oh no, what have I done?" and starts handling the firearm well. Geez, terrible. So if you want a med kit, there is a link in the description. We do sell them through Mountain Man Medical pre-filled. It's exactly the ones that I use on my person, the ones that we use on the range, the ones that we have in our cars. And they're not any more expensive than if you rolled your own. I don't care, roll your own if you want, because anything that would come to ask from the purchase of those kits goes instead to good charities every month. So if you want one for the same price, goes to charity, great, then buy one of those. Otherwise, roll one of your own. I don't care. Make sure that you've got it on you and you know how to use it. And better than that, follow the rules of safe firearms handling, okay? Because this guy is going to walk with a limp for the rest of his life to remind him that he should be doing that.